Hey guys, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I wanted to talk about kind of something that's going on online. I know that if you're watching this channel, you guys know exactly who Linus Tech Tips are. You know exactly who Gamers Nexus are. Now, this is not in any way to try to get into their thing. This just kind of proves my, kind of helps me prove my point that as these tech YouTubers get bigger and bigger and they get all this free stuff and they get all this money and everything just starts flying into them, you never really know exactly where their loyalties lie. If their loyalties are to their community or if they're to these corporations or whatever else that's helping them get to where they are. And like, I don't blame them for that. I really don't. Like, I don't care. That's what they want to do to make their money. But when you're a customer, a consumer like I am, and you watch these guys and you listen to them and they instill that, I mean, like, obviously they're influencers. They influence you with you know, their likes, their desires, you know, the things that are appealing to them. And so as a consumer, you might be influenced to buy a product that might not make you happy when there's other products out there that could potentially blow you away and fulfill every freaking single desire you have. And that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of the products that I've bought over the years when it comes to the, you know, when it comes to like the influencers and stuff like that. You know, like, I'll see them put out a game, or I'll see them cover something and I'll be like, ooh, yeah, that looks cool. And I get that like, I'm the same way. I get that I'm the same way. I make my content, you know, and I cover things, but I try to be fair and I try to cover things, and I really do try to put my money where my mouth is 90% of the time. And I'm sure that Linus Tech Tip does, and I'm sure that Gamers Nexus does, and all of that. So as you're like watching, you know, like these two titans of YouTube, you know, butt heads, just remember that they're all people, and this is really all video games, but we all do have a lot of money tied up in these purchases that are reflected to us. And that brings me to today's point. I bought into Nvidia 3 times. I feel like I absolutely wasted my money going with Nvidia. I do. Like, I absolutely feel like I wasted my money. And the signs and the writing was all over the wall. All over the wall. You could just hear, you know, like when Alex Battaglia, and this like caught my attention. I don't know why. But when Alex Battaglia was doing his review of Death Stranding, and he was saying how DLSS looks better than native 4K on Death Stranding, and like was showing you pictures of like native 4K and then DLSS, and having one of them look kind of blurry and kind of off. I don't necessarily, and this kind of like got me thinking today, because I was like, wait a minute, man, like, I swear that I have better overall image quality with this AMD graphics card. And I'm gonna check. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna check out Death Stranding, and I'm gonna look at this, and I'm gonna look at some of the stuff that he pointed out in like his video, and see what it looks like, you know, on just running it natively. But he was showing you like stickers on the backpack, and like the stickers would be a little bit not that great, you know, not showing up that great. But like when you flip on DLSS, it's like boom, it looks great and it looks amazing. And so, Is DLSS being utilized to cover up the method that Nvidia uses to what's it called, to compress their textures and stuff? Is DLSS a way to bring some of that back? Because in theory, and this is my honest, like, just my observation of having Nvidia and then going to AMD, and never once in native resolution have I felt the way I felt with those Nvidia cards. Never once did I feel like, oh my gosh, this is inferior looking visuals, you know. Never once have I not just been like, whoa. And you can't tell me that it's something that they look exactly the same. Like, I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to believe that. I've seen these games at native 4K on an Nvidia card. I've seen them at native 4K on my AMD card. I'm not going to just sit back and shut up and pretend I didn't see this and let the internet just run wild with this when I have when I'm sure there's absolute proof out there. And just when you hear somebody like Alex Battaglia completely saying that native resolution is not good to his eye, but DLSS is better, and it is true. When you turn DLSS on in these games, they do look better. But I'm running these games at native 4K on this AMD graphics card, and I'm not feeling the same way I was feeling with those Nvidia graphics cards, my friends. And this, I mean, like, you guys can sit here, the Nvidia bros can come at me all day long, and they could be like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Nvidia is the best. Okay, whatever, man. If you want to hold up Nvidia and do like Nvidia's bidding, by all means, man. I get it. Like, I 100% get it. You bought the best. Nobody's going to tell you that your Nvidia graphics card is not the best. I get it, man. Like, I get the same way sometimes too when it comes to like Xbox and, you know, PlayStation and other products that I really love. I get the same way. I do. I get defensive when the PlayStation fanboys show up to bash Xbox. I feel like I need to defend Xbox. So I understand where you're coming from, and I understand the feelings that you have toward the product that you love. Like, I get that. I'm just saying that, like, for me and my personal choice, and I'm sure there's other gamers out there that are going to feel like I do. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, dude, I'm way more comfortable and feel better with that AMD than I do with Nvidia. To me, Nvidia feels like a like a premium product that kind of cuts corners, and I feel that way. And there's nothing you're going to do or say to ever change my mind. 10 gigabytes on a 3080 that was marketed as a 4K card. I'll never get over that. Like, I'll never get over that. I spent $750 freaking dollars on that card, man. Like, I'm never going to get over that. I probably, every time I have to upgrade my PC from this day forward, I'm going to look at both options, and I'm going to make my decision based on certain things. There's no way in hell I would buy a 4080 with 16 gigs of VRAM. If it had 20, no problem. I would have bought it. I wouldn't even have questioned it. I probably would have bought it. If they brought out a 20 gigabyte model, I might consider it. Because there are things that I do want to go back eventually on Nvidia's side, and I want to check out. Like, I want to dig deeper at least for myself. I mean, most people on the internet are probably going to go with their favorite YouTuber, their favorite person, and they're going to be like, yeah, this guy here, he makes sense. The argument sounds good. Perfect. Works for me. You're wrong. AMD sucks. Nvidia's the best. And that's kind of coming back around to this whole thing between Gamers Nexus and Linus Tech Tips right now. Now, I used to watch Linus Tech Tips a lot. I used to watch Gamers Nexus a lot. I used to watch Jay from 2 Cents a lot. These guys were like, they're there. I like them as people, so I don't mind watching their content. But when it comes to their overall recommendations and the way that they always put like Nvidia on this kind of pedestal, like, don't get me wrong, they do say like the right things at the right time to make you think that, like, yeah, man, Nvidia is bad, these things are so expensive. But then when they go into talking about the cards and stuff, you forget about that. That doesn't matter anymore. All you care about going forward is the results, and then you're internalizing, all right, well, is this worth it to me? I got the best. If I get Nvidia, I got the best. And it's kind of like word psychology, like it's like pseudo psychology and stuff. Or it is psychology, like it's psychology. Like they get that out first. They get that out first. Oh man, these prices are bad. They get the criticisms, the little hand tap out first. We all know that Nvidia is way overcharging for these products. We all know that. Like, we all know that. And not one of us are going to stand up and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm speaking with my wallet. Oh, actually, I did. I was like, all right, man, you're going to throw that at me? You're going to try to make me pay $1,100, $1,200 for 16 gigs of VRAM on a 4080? No, man, I'm gonna go try the 20 gigabyte XT. I'm going to try it. And that's what I did. I spoke with my wallet. And if you listen to anybody on the internet, Jay's 2 Cents, Linus Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus, any of these guys, every single one of them literally low-key tell you, hey man, AMD's probably the better bet. But they know you're not going to listen to them because Nvidia. They know you're not going to listen to them, so they don't even try. They literally do not even try anymore, and they just keep going along with, yeah, Nvidia's the best, but naughty Nvidia is charging you too much money. Like, they're all low-key telling you to go buy AMD. Every single one of them. And if you've been with this channel for the last 41 days, you've seen me 100% excited and happy about my AMD 7900 XT. And there's plenty of reasons for that. I get better image quality, and you can't tell me I don't. I do. I get better image quality on my 1440p monitor, on my 4K. I get better image quality, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. It's easier to adjust my color settings, which has always been very important to me because I do like vivid colors on certain games. On certain games, I love my colors to be a little bit more vivid than what I've ever been able to reproduce on an Nvidia graphics card. And that's one of the things that I do want to eventually come back and get another Nvidia graphics card. But it's going to be a while. I'm going to put a little bit of distance between me and Nvidia, you know, kind of let my salty wounds heal from the 10 gigabytes. And then maybe I'll go back and I'll buy in at a much higher place. I won't be fooled again. You know, fool me once with the 3050, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. I was a freaking idiot. 8 gig or 4 gigs, 8 gigs, then 10 gigs. I mean, come on, man. Like, why does Nvidia have to be so cheap when it comes to their VRAM? It doesn't make any sense to me. But they fooled me 3 times. I bought an AMD card. I'm able to blast through and play everything I've thrown at it. So I'm happy with this. And I do get that, like, oh man, you can't compare a 3080 to a 7900 XT. This is my thought process for that. And you can say I'm wrong all you want, but as a consumer, as an actual consumer and a gamer that buys this stuff, I 100% am going to compare them. Why? Because they all have launched at the beginning of the generation for the newest console generation. As far as I'm concerned, they're all part of that. If we got an Xbox Series X, Super Series X, and a PS5 Pro, do you really think that nobody's going to compare those to the old consoles? Do you really think that that's not going to happen? I mean, Nvidia, you know, and not only did they cheat me out of precious VRAM, that's obviously very important now, but they also didn't even give me DLSS 3. I didn't even get DLSS 3. I couldn't even try the frame generator. So I mean, I was like, okay, well, that's cool, man. You're going to cut me out of a feature that could have potentially hooked me into your ecosystem even further, and now you're going to send me into the arms of your competitor. Smart going, Nvidia. You guys are 2 thumbs up for you guys, man. You guys made almost. You guys, I mean, at this point, after the way I'm feeling and the way I'm seeing, you know, like Steve and Linus, you know, going back and forth over this thing, it just sheds so much light on this overhyped market when it comes to PC gaming, when it comes to all of this stuff. It's so overhyped and so nonsensical that nobody is safe from being able to make actual freaking decisions based on real research, man. There's no real way to research any of this except for having it in your hands and looking at it yourself. That's how freaking bad it is, man. Like, I don't expect anybody to go and buy graphics cards off of my recommendations, man, because first of all, I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified to tell you what's better. I mean, I'm sitting right here questioning the wisdom of everybody on the freaking internet and their dog and people before them about my visuals between AMD and Nvidia. I don't expect you to believe me. This is something that you would have to see for yourself, because computer visuals are a little bit tricky. And this is true. And there's like proven fact about this. Everybody can look at the same image and see something completely different. See something that's more pleasing to their eye than another person. And that's true. That's true. And with me, with the games that I play, with the select titles that I play, there's a consistency in the visual quality across all of them with my AMD 7900 XT that just wasn't there with the Nvidia. Now, there are games that absolutely look identical. There are games that absolutely look identical. I felt the same way playing that as I did on the Nvidia card. there's definitely games that absolutely look the same. And I kind of feel like those are the games that are put forward and shown the most. Games like WRC Generations, nobody's going to care about that. It's a it's a AA studio. It's Kiloton Racing, man. Some of these like older games, some of this other stuff that I like to play, you're not going to see this in their comparisons, like ever. You're not going to see this stuff. But I notice a consistency across everything that I play now, where I wasn't getting that with an Nvidia graphics card. And like I said, I do like the ease of being able to adjust my color space on my games in a way that I like, that just wasn't easy to find on the Nvidia graphics card. And that's why eventually I will purchase another Nvidia graphics card, and I will test these things. As soon as I've gotten myself to a point where I feel like, wow, this is incredible. This is where I want to be. I feel more confident in what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for. I feel more confident in playing around with settings. Then I'll buy another Nvidia graphics card so that I can do an actual comparison and like really look at things side by side. I'll have the exact same monitors. Both the PCs will have the exact same the exact same CPU. Both graphics cards will be from the same generation. If it's a 8000 and the 5000, everything will be basically built on the same platform, same motherboard, same memory, same everything. I will build up two complete systems, and I will look. And then after I'm done, whichever one I find to be the superior gaming platform, I'll probably go with that, and then I'll sell the other one. Or maybe I'll keep it around and do like Nvidia and AMD type deals, but that's kind of where I'm at with PC gaming. Like I have come to the point where, yes, I do appreciate PC gaming enough to where this is something that I want to find out, and I want to get the exact thing that I want to have and be able to go forward playing that. Like I just want the confidence of having a good system that I can enjoy my favorite games on. That's all I'm really asking for. I'm not asking for like these unrealistic things. I'm perfectly okay with not even going top of the line on either platform. Most of these TVs top out at 120 frames a second on 4K. Yeah, you can go and you could get a better monitor, but I mean, like the games that I feel like you're going to be playing at high frame rates are going to be games that look like a potato anyways. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be like your AAA games that I like to play. They're not going to be those games running at 4K at over 200, 300 frames a second. Those games are not going to come. Those games are probably a long, long ways off. So at this point right now, thinking realistically, as long as I can get over 60 frames a second at 4K, like I'm cool with that. Like I'm fine with that. As long as I can get, really good at 1440p, I'm good with that too. But I've come to a point with this whole PC thing and the way things are going and the way I see things on the internet and how everybody just kind of discredits AMD like right out the gate. They're like, oh man, these should have been cheaper. These would have been great, but they should have been cheaper. These are great, but they should be cheaper. That's the reoccurring theme that I always hear when it comes to AMD. And I'm like, dude, man, this 7900 XT has literally blown my freaking mind. It's good. I like this thing. I really like this thing. And then you've got everybody like, oh man, it should be cheaper. And I'm like, dude, I feel like I paid a fair price for this. Because if I would have bought the Nvidia graphics card, I'd have been like way more money. And pretty much, like 6%? 6%? Like I'd have paid more money for 6% lead on the Nvidia 4080. I mean, but if you really, because there's no way I'm buying a 4090 with that plug thing smoking like it does. Like I'm not even gonna waste my time with that. That's not even worth the hassle. So 4080 is the top of the stack that I would have went with Nvidia anyway. So when I look at that, I'm like, they're like, yeah, you get a 6% increase in power for the 4080 from the 7900 XT. I'm like, well, dude, is that really even like to me 6%? That's like if you're getting what 100 frames on the XTX, you're getting 106 frames on the Nvidia card. I'm like, what's 6 frames going to do for you? Like, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ray tracing is going to be better. That's one of the things that it's like, I'm actually very impressed with the performance of ray tracing that this card gives me. Like, I'm pretty impressed with this. I've been able to play everything at 1440p. like basically everything at 1440p. Cyberpunk, that one's still a little bit questionable, but basically everything else I've been able to max out ray tracing and visuals and be able to play that at 1440p. Even if I have to use like upscaling or something, I can still play that at 1440p. I'm not against upscaling at all. Like I'm not against it. All I feel like is we shouldn't have to use that on something priced like an Nvidia graphics card to try to, you know, push us over the top. Like I don't think we should have to use that for the most part. I think that Nvidia having the 3rd generation in with ray tracing tensor cores and stuff, I think they should be able to I think they should be able to give us, you know, rasterize with ray tracing at that point, especially for the price they're asking. I don't want to have to rely on DLSS to get something that I should have with that card. Now with AMD, when FSR3 launches, because rumor has it that it is going to launch with Starfield. And if you go back and you listen to some of my earlier videos, I was right before I bought the 7900 XT, I was thinking like, yeah, this is going to launch with Starfield. This is going to launch with Starfield. They're going to have it in there, the frame gen and all of that stuff, and they're going to really use this game to market the AMD cards, and that's smart. AMD needs to do that. But I mean, you're going to have people like Alex Battaglia, you're going to have all these guys come out, and they're going to try to pour cold water on it immediately. So I promise you on this channel, I will not do, I will just give you a fair analysis of it. Like I'll show you the thing. I'll show you a native image with Starfield running at 4K. I'll do a FSR2 quality running at 4K. And then FSR3 quality running at 4K, and then we'll see the frame generation. So it'll be four things, and I'll do each section, you know, like 10-15 minutes each. I'll make it a long video, and we'll be and then we'll discuss it right after that, how that came together and exactly what the findings are. I'll give you my opinion on the overall quality of it. I don't have any Nvidia or anybody else or anything else to compare it to. So I won't be able to. Like well, actually nobody will be able to compare it to anything else if it's AMD only. But like I'll do my best to try to, you know, give you my honest opinion as a gamer that actually uses AMD and plays AMD, if it's quality enough for me to be able to get my for it to be able to, you know, like impress me. Like if it's impressive, I'll let you know if it's impressive. So I just wanted to take some time today, you know, and kind of talk about this, because it really got me thinking, man, about like other content creators and about myself and about YouTube in general, and the role that we play as content creators in helping people make decisions. And man, it is tough out there, man. There's a lot of people that would just as soon point you toward Nvidia and say, don't even worry about AMD. And like I could have been one of those people. Like I easily could have been one of those. I'm glad that I'm the kind of person that I'm not gonna, that I am kind of snobbish with my money. Like I am. Like I will go buy the best, but at the same time, I like to save a little bit of money too, you know? Like it just depends on the day, honestly. To tell you the truth, it really just depends on the day. When I'm in Best Buy and I'm looking at the LG C2 or C1, and I'm like, wait a minute, Vizio has an OLED. It's $300 cheaper? Heck yeah, man, I got a Vizio now. Let's do it. Let's save $300. I'm that kind of person. I'm that kind of person that will go out of his way to spend money or lose money to try to save. Because if I would have bought that C1, I would have been super happy. Like I would have been super happy. This LG C2 is it's a premium experience. Like it feels so good to use this TV. It's fast, it's snappy. There's features on there that just are probably never going to come to Vizio, and that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean Vizio is a bad TV. That just means that like LG goes out of their way to make sure that experience feels premium, whereas in Vizio, they're like, hey man, we're just trying to get you the tech for as cheap as we can, and you know, minus a few bells and whistles and not a fast enough processor. This TV, I think the biggest thing is that LG C2 has a lot faster processor in there than the Vizio does. And I mean, like I said, the Vizio is not a bad TV. It is very good. It has 100% served me well. Perfect black levels, beautiful pre-calibrated freaking pictures for cinema, for gaming, for it just looks great. Like it is a pretty good TV. I've never had to go out of my way to try to recalibrate things or do anything like that. And the LG does the exact same thing. So I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I could recommend either one of those sets, you know, depending on if you're somebody that's on a budget and you want an OLED. I could easily recommend the Vizio, you know, if you're the only one drawback is if you're an Xbox player, yeah, you're not going to get the the Dolby Vision at 120 FPS. I mean, I have been in touch with the Vizio guys, the Vizio reps. They have said that they are working on it, but who knows when that's going to come out? Maybe eventually. That would be awesome. But now I get it on my OLED, and it's fine. I get it on the LG. So it just goes to show you that like a lot of us YouTubers, man, a lot of us content creators are, you know, I get that these guys, you know, that's all they do. That's how they feed their family, everything else. And I'm just a new guy, the dump truck driving through, and I'm just like, hey guys, I got a real job to pay all my bills, but hey man, I'm here to like rain on your parade and call you guys out whenever I feel like it, because I feel lied to all the time. I feel lied to all the time on YouTube, man. And it sucks because that just creates a space where like, hey man, I'm a YouTuber too. Why would I expect anybody to listen to anything I have to say when the guys that are way bigger than me are clearly not being upfront with what they're doing, and they're making mistakes that could cost people a lot of money, man? I mean, anybody could have looked at that 4090 thing from Linus Tech Tips and be like, whoa, 300%, and went and ordered that thing right off that information. And then they get home and they're like, oh man, I only get 15 frames a second at 4K with, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where we're like, yeah, come on, man, like a little bit of integrity, unless you're just like a flyby YouTuber, like the drive-by guys that just, yeah, man, this dude said that, so I'm going to say that. And yeah, it's just nonsense. But I'm staying out of their whole little argument thing. Like, I don't even care. It doesn't have anything to do with me. But I watch both of them and I like both of them. So it's like, man, I hate seeing that. But I do kind of agree with, you know, Gamers Nexus that like, yeah, man, maybe Linus Tech Tips should like rethink his strategy for things. If he's putting out egregious content like that, like as much as Steve is saying he is, then yeah, dude, maybe he should reevaluate some of that stuff, man. Maybe he should come back down to earth and realize that like, look, man, you need to be there for your community more than you need to be there for these corporations, man. The corporations need you more than you need them. You know what I mean? Well, I guess unless they're paying them millions of dollars, then maybe it's a different story. Then, but you never know. So, all right, my friends, I really appreciate you guys coming again. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps the channel grow, and I'm trying to get this channel big enough to where I can make a difference. So, hit that like button at least, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.